There's no way in hell this show would have made it on ABC Family in the 90s. But, good thing there's Netflix. Now it's time to talk about it. Join me for this brand new segment on Comic Universe. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the web first must-see comic and nerd culture show. Welcome to the Comic Universe. I'm Dr. J. I've got a PhD in nerd culture, and I should know. I printed it out myself. Now, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's getting close to that my favorite time of the year, Halloween season, and so I figured, what better time than now to kick off a brand new segment idea that I had for the channel, and this segment is, of course, called Comic Comparisons. Or comic comparison. Now, you guys know mostly on the channel I do a lot of reviews and stuff. Well, this will be slightly different. It's not exactly a review, it's more of a thoughts on how well a show or a movie or a video game has adapted their source material. So I'm going to start off, of course, because it's close to Halloween and the series just came out. I'm going to be talking about The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Season 1. Now, don't worry, this is completely spoiler-free. I'm just going to kind of be talking about what I thought about the adaptation versus the comic books. And because I've read, all 8 issues, because unfortunately, like all of the really more mature horror comics, they go on long, indefinite hiatuses. So there are only 8 issues, but that's definitely enough for me to compare this first season to the first arc and talk about it. This isn't necessarily a review. Like I said, it's going to be spoiler free, so don't worry about it. But if you have seen the show and you want to see a more plot focused actual review that I do for The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Season 1, I will leave a card annotated somewhere up here, and it'll take you to my main channel, Mr. J's Reviews, where I did a separate review on The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Season 1. Still relatively spoiler-free in case you want to go in blind. But if you want to talk spoilers, that's the place to talk. So definitely, hop over to my corner of the universe and check that out once you're done with this. But let's get into it, right? So let's talk about the comparisons. So, what are my thoughts on The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina comic book series? Well, I absolutely love it. It is one of the darkest books I've ever read. Granted, once again, I'm no expert in the occult. I've just done a lot of research, spent a lot of time in the library looking at different books and different histories and stuff. Obviously, this is a more exaggerated version of the occult, and it's like more of how, and I'm speaking as a Catholic, I'm speaking as a Catholic man, how Catholics and Christians view witches, and especially during like the Puritan era, how witches were viewed. This is like a more exaggerated version of that form of witchcraft. So there's that, and they get into some really dark stuff in the comics: brutal violence, murder, blood sacrifice. Literally, the witches are referred to as the bride of Satan. The brides of Satan, their covenant is called the Church of the Night, and there's like Sabrina's father in the comics is actually a lot of the characters in Sabrina's life and in Sabrina's family, aside from maybe Ambrose, are very sadistic, very cruel, very detached by nature, but that's just how witches are raised and how witch society is. And the series itself kind of focuses on that duality. Of course, the classic caught between two worlds, kind of like Aquaman or Superman or any superhero who is not actually from where they are protecting, or not entirely from where they are protecting. And that's kind of Sabrina's struggle. She has to choose whether she wants to be a full witch and have her powers, and basically be eternally young, have all these abilities, get to do whatever she wants, essentially, with the price of serving the Dark Lord, Satan. or she could live her mortal life and, you know, find true love, have a family, have friends, have meaningful connections. But she wants to have her cake and eat it too, and of course, more often than not, that gets her in trouble. I'm happy to report that the show does get that core concept down packed. It's definitely there, and it's presented very nicely. So points for you there, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Um, the look of it. Let's talk about the look. If you like Riverdale, if you love Riverdale as much as I do, you can tell I have the Jughead beanie on right now. If you love Riverdale as much as I do, you're definitely going to love the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, beyond a shadow of a doubt. I have no doubt in my mind if you love Riverdale, you're going to love Sabrina. If you do not like Riverdale, and you think Riverdale's full of too much, you know, over-the-top soap opera BS, which I can understand, but I'm kind of trash for that type of stuff. But if you don't like Riverdale because of that, do not worry. Sabrina does have some of those elements in there, but there is enough super dark, super interesting elements to it that I think will bring people in. They definitely go as far as possible and then some, way farther than I expected, even for Netflix standards. I was genuinely shocked and surprised, and there were a few moments that made me go, "Oh shit," and actually kind of look away from the screen, but like halfway look. Like it's a crazy ride, and I could not have enjoyed it any more than I had. That's just impossible. They alter a lot of the characters. Harvey, in the comics, is more of just an object, a dream. It's a representation of Sabrina's mortal life. Like, that is her goal. Her goal in life as a human is Harvey Kinkle, to get married, to have children, to, you know, live the ideal, you know, normal human life. That's what Harvey is. That's what Harvey represents. In the show, however, Harvey is much more of a character. He has his own goals, his own ambitions, his own problems, his own family drama within his family. So he can relate to Sabrina a lot more. You definitely see more chemistry in the show versus the comics, which is a strength of having episodes, having the episodes. Now, granted, like, Harvey didn't really need to be more in the comics, so that's fine. But like I'm saying, Harvey is much more of a character here. They have a character named Roz, who in the comics is Sabrina's bully, and who is also after Harvey Kinkle, and they have that, like, Betty and Veronica love triangle thing. In the show, Roz is actually Sabrina's best friend, and there's more to Roz than meets the eye. And which, you know, there's more to Roz than meets the eye in the comics as well, but we're not going to get into that. Then we have an original character named Susie. Susie and Roz are both connected to town lore. Town lore is a big element of the show that really makes it stand out, which is a big part of the comics as well, so I again give it points there. The aunts. Let's talk about the Spellman family real quick. They definitely humanize Sabrina's father a lot more. They make him They make him a much softer character, which I did not mind for this particular adaptation. They also soften up Hilda a lot more. Yes, Hilda is the funny, bubblier one in the comics as well, just like in the old 90s show. But Hilda in the show actually is a lot more like Sabrina, where she does kind of like the mortal world a lot more than Zelda does, and maybe does, and she shows inklings of wanting to form, you know, connections and stuff like that, like Sabrina. So that's really cool. My favorite character of the show is, of course, Ambrose, Sabrina's cousin, and he is where all the snark comes from. Like, all the snark you would expect from Salem from the 90s Sabrina show, that comes from Ambrose. Not to say that Salem isn't here. Salem is there, but in the show, he, you know, is not the same as in the 90s one. He is not like a constantly talking, like, wacky talking cat. He is a cat, he is a familiar, and he does some cool stuff. But, like, he's not just, you know, comic relief in this show, which I like. Overall, I feel like this is a very strong adaptation, a really gripping show. The changes they made don't really offend me as a fan of the source material. I think for the medium that they brought it into, the changes work very well. They blend seamlessly, and the most important part is they kept the core of the series, which is, of course, that struggle of duality of the two parts of Sabrina's life. So I think because they kept that going, and of how well they developed villains like Michelle Gomez's character and Father Blackwood, really good stuff, and I cannot wait for more. If you want to know more about the plot and you want to hear me discuss the plot a bit more, again, I still wanted to remain spoiler free because I want you guys to go in blind if possible. So definitely in the outro card or somewhere in the ether here, I will leave linked my personal review of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Season 1 over on my main channel. Definitely go check that out if you want to hear more detailed thoughts about it. And I will also leave linked a channel icon for my personal channel so you can subscribe to the channel. Because if you like what I do over here on the Comic Universe, you'll definitely like what I do on my main channel, Mr. J's Reviews. I review comics, music, movies, TV shows, anime, manga, and so much more. So definitely, if you like what I do here, you'll definitely like what I do over there. And of course, don't forget to join the universe today. I will leave the Comic Universe channel icon here as well. All our social medias are in the description down below. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us all on there. Every time we hit milestones, we do big giveaways. And the best way to enter those is by following all our social medias. So if you want to know those prizes, you definitely have to join the universe. And you won't regret it, man. DPZ, C-Dubs, and I, we have a lot of great content coming up for you guys. And, I think you're going to enjoy it. But, until next time, happy Halloween. And I'll see you at the witching hour, universe. Goodbye.